Sometimes the world isn't what it seems. Things we've believed for years, things we've been taught in school or just assumed were true, can get completely flipped on their head. It's not just about surprises, it's about the discoveries that leave you staring at the wall, wondering, how did I not know this? If you're ready to have your mind blown, here are 15 shocking discoveries that will change the way you see the world. Some are recent, some are old, but they're all very gold. Number 15. New human relatives. The human story isn't as simple as a straight evolutionary line. It's a tangle of surprises, and the last decade brought a few more twists. In South Africa, a 9-year-old boy stumbled across a fossil that turned out to be Australopithecus sediba, a hominin from 2 million years ago. Scientists pieced together its skeleton, revealing a species with a mix of primitive traits and a stride that hinted at something closer to us. A few years later, in a labyrinth of caves, Homo naledi was uncovered, a species that walked the Earth just a few 100,000 years ago, potentially interacting with early Homo sapiens. Over in the Philippines, Homo luzonensis joined the list, a smaller species living just 50,000 years ago. These discoveries aren't just reshuffling our understanding of human evolution, they're proof that our past is far more complex and crowded than we ever imagined. Our family tree still has pretty much branches we haven't found. Number 14. Yellowstone's supervolcano. Yellowstone isn't just home to geysers and grizzly bears, it sits atop a volcanic beast. This supervolcano has erupted 3 times in the last 2.1 million years, each time spewing enough ash to blanket continents and change the planet's climate. It's not erupting anytime soon, scientists watch it like hawks, but its track record is ominous. The last eruption, 640,000 years ago, made a caldera so huge it makes your average volcano look like a backyard barbecue. If it did blow again, the effects would be catastrophic. Ashfall would devastate agriculture, disrupt air travel, and plunge temperatures worldwide. Yet, life in Yellowstone continues as though nothing is brewing beneath its feet. Visitors snap selfies with Old Faithful, blissfully unaware that it's part of a much larger, potentially world-changing system. The real question isn't if it will erupt again, but when. Until then, we live under the shadow of a giant that has no deadline, just a lot of patience. Number 13. Things that taste good. There's a cruel irony in human cravings. The foods we love, salty fries, rich chocolate, buttery steaks, Coca-Cola, are killing us in slow motion. It wasn't always this way. Back when life was a calorie-scarce grind, evolution shaped our palates to crave fat, sugar, and salt for survival. But in today's world of drive-thrus and desk jobs, those same cravings are more a curse than a gift. A long-term study that started in 1948, the Framingham Heart Study, revealed the grim truth. Our love for rich, delicious food is directly tied to heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. Sure, there are some exceptions. Blueberries and nuts might sneak into the good category, and red wine keeps teasing us with its maybe healthy status. But the broader takeaway is grim. Our taste buds evolved for survival, not longevity. And as we gorge on triple fudge brownies or Big Mac cheeseburger, it's clear nature's plan for us wasn't built for the age of excess. Number 12. New super-Earth found. NASA found a planet that's basically Earth but juiced up, TOI 715b, 137 light-years away, chilling in the habitable zone. It's bigger than us, but not obnoxiously so, like that cousin who hits the gym once and won't shut up about it. Scientists think it might have liquid water, but before you start Googling interstellar moving companies, remember it's orbiting a tiny red star. Great for mood lighting, but not so great for sunbathing. There's also a smaller planet nearby, basically the runt of the cosmic litter. That might be worth keeping an eye on. These planets were spotted by TESS, a telescope that specializes in catching planets being sneaky and blocking starlight. Toei 715b might not have a welcome mat yet, but give it a few decades. Humans have a knack for turning uninhabitable into open for business. Just ask Mars. Number 11. Cleopatra's tomb. Cleopatra VII's death is the stuff of legend, romance, defeat, and an end so dramatic it might as well have been scripted. What we know, Cleopatra and Mark Antony took their lives after losing to Octavian at the Battle of Actium. What we don't know, where the two were buried. According to Plutarch, their tomb was a grand monument near a temple of Isis, but its exact location remains one of history's most enduring mysteries. Theories abound, from the sunken ruins of Alexandria to the desert sands of Egypt. Even if it were found, grave robbery was practically an industry in the ancient world, so it might have already been looted centuries ago. The question lingers. Was Cleopatra's final resting place deliberately hidden to preserve her legacy? Is there any kind of alien thing involved? Or has time simply outsmarted us? For a woman who mastered the art of control in life, it's fitting that she still holds all the cards in death. Number 10. The Earth isn't the center of the universe. For centuries, humans believed Earth was the center of everything, a comforting but false idea. When Copernicus proposed that the planets, including Earth, orbit the Sun, the suggestion was met with ridicule. Galileo's observations through a telescope, craters on the Moon, moons orbiting Jupiter, provided the evidence, but not without backlash. Many refused to look through his telescope, unwilling to accept that their world wasn't the focal point of creation. The church labeled Galileo a heretic, as his findings clashed with scripture. He was punished, but the science endured. Over time, the heliocentric model was accepted, and humanity's place in the cosmos became clearer. We are a small part of a vast universe. This shift wasn't just scientific, it was philosophical, forcing us to confront the reality that we're not at the center of it all. It's a humbling truth, and one that still challenges the way we see ourselves today. Now let's move to number 9. Editing genes. Genetic editing has gone from sci-fi fodder to headline news in just a few decades. It all started with the promise of fixing what nature got wrong, like the 1990 trial where a 4-year-old girl's immune system was boosted by tweaking her white blood cells. The results were hopeful, but temporary. Then, in 2013, CRISPR-Cas9 changed the game. This precision tool can snip out problem DNA like a pair of molecular scissors, with the option to patch in new genetic material. Sounds like a cure-all, right? Not quite. While it's already revolutionizing agriculture and disease treatment, human applications have sparked controversy. In 2018, Chinese scientists crossed an ethical Rubicon by editing embryos that led to the birth of twin girls. The goal? HIV resistance. The result? A global uproar over potential unforeseen genetic side effects. While the science is revolutionary, it's clear we're walking a fine line. Genes may hold the power to rewrite life, but with great power comes great responsibility and some serious regulatory headaches. Number 8. Mass extinctions. Mass extinctions are nature's version of hitting delete button on life. 5 times in Earth's history, cataclysmic events wiped the slate clean. The Permian-Triassic extinction 250 million years ago was the worst, taking out 90% of species, an extinction so brutal even cockroaches must have sweated. The most famous? The Cretaceous-Tertiary event that ended the dinosaurs 65 million years ago, thanks to an asteroid impact. Now, many scientists argue we're well into a 6th extinction, courtesy of us. Habitat destruction, overhunting, and climate change are pushing species toward the brink. It's not like extinction is a new concept, though. Thomas Jefferson, ever the optimist, thought mastodons were just hiding out in America's unexplored wilds and told Lewis and Clark to keep an eye out. Spoiler, they didn't find any. Today, the scale of extinction is far grimmer. Over the last 500 years, nearly 900 species have vanished. The irony? Humans are both the cause and the only hope of preventing this one from becoming the worst in Earth's history. Number 7. We've already set the climate. On a course we can't reverse in our lifetime. The process is straightforward. We burn fossil fuels and release carbon dioxide, and it builds up in the atmosphere, trapping heat and warming the planet. The consequences are no longer subtle. Glaciers are retreating at unprecedented rates. Flowers are blooming earlier than when Thoreau was jotting down observations, and species are scrambling to higher altitudes or latitudes to escape the rising temperatures. What's worse is how long carbon dioxide sticks around. Hundreds of years, lingering like a bad decision we can't undo. The changes we're seeing now are just the opening act. Scientists predict scenarios that range from disruptive to catastrophic, and the reality is clear. The damage we've already done guarantees a warmer, less stable future for generations to come. The planet is changing, and we're the ones who set it in motion. Number 6. Lingering radioactivity. Radioactivity doesn't just fade away, it lingers, sometimes for centuries, as Marie Curie's legacy reminds us. The pioneering scientist, who won 2 Nobel Prizes, spent years handling radioactive materials like radium and polonium with little knowledge of their dangers. By the time she died in 1934 from aplastic anemia, her body, and even her personal belongings, were steeped in radioactivity. To this day, her handwritten notes and cookbooks are sealed in lead-lined boxes, requiring protective gear to handle. It's unsettling to think that objects from the 1890s still hold such destructive energy, a sobering reminder of how little we understood radiation at the time. Curie's work revolutionized science, but it also left a haunting legacy of risk. Today we handle radioactivity with far more caution, but her story remains a testament to the razor-thin line between groundbreaking discovery and danger. Radioactive indeed, in every sense of the word. Number 5. The powerful unconscious mind. We like to believe we're rational beings, fully in control of our decisions. But if Sigmund Freud were here, he'd smirk knowingly. Freud popularized the idea that our unconscious mind, a vast iceberg beneath the surface, steers much of what we do. Decades later, neuroscientist Liebet backed him up, showing that our brains decide on actions before we're even aware of them. Think you're choosing that chocolate bar? Your unconscious likely called dibs before you could even blink. Advertisers have long exploited this, crafting campaigns that manipulate unconscious desires. But it's not all bad news. Studies suggest that trusting your unconscious on complex decisions, like picking a job or a home, can sometimes yield better results than overthinking. It's a reminder that the conscious mind is only part of the equation. While we like to think we're captains of our mental ship, it turns out we're passengers on an ocean far deeper than we imagined. Number 4. Oldest known reptile skin. Finding fossilized reptile skin is like hitting the prehistoric jackpot because you're gonna have a name and cash both. In 2024, scientists uncovered what they believe is the oldest known reptile skin, dating back to the late Paleozoic era, around 20 million years ago. While most fossils are limited to bones or teeth, this rare find opens a window into what these creatures might have actually looked like. The skin appears to belong to Captorhinus agouti, an iguana-sized reptile that might have lived a semi-aquatic lifestyle. But here's the kicker. Researchers noted that reptilian scales haven't evolved much in the past 20 million years. That's right. While we've been reinventing the wheel, reptiles basically said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's discoveries like this that remind us how much the fossil record can still surprise us. What other secrets are hidden in ancient sediment, waiting for someone to stumble across them millions of years later? Number 3. Black hole death. Well, Stephen Hawking, may God bless his soul, didn't just think about black holes, he redefined them. One night in 1970, while climbing into bed, he had a realization that rewrote the rules. Black holes aren't eternal. Instead, they slowly lose mass and eventually evaporate, culminating in a burst of gamma rays. It was a mind-bending idea, merging relativity and quantum mechanics, two theories that usually refuse to play nice. Hawking radiation became one of the most influential concepts in theoretical physics. The problem? We can't observe it. Black holes take billions of years to die, and humanity simply hasn't been around long enough to catch one in its final act. Despite the lack of direct evidence, Hawking's work continues to shape the field. It's not flashy or dramatic, but it's a slow-burning idea that reshapes our understanding of the universe. Sometimes the most profound insights are the ones that take the longest to see. Number 2. New moons of Neptune and Uranus. For decades, Neptune and Uranus sat at the edge of our solar system, their moons cataloged, their orbits studied, quiet, predictable. But in 2024, astronomers added 3 new moons to the ledger, upending the idea that we've seen it all. Using advanced imaging techniques, they spotted 2 faint, icy bodies circling Neptune and 1 orbiting Uranus. These moons are tiny, the smallest just 5 miles across, and dim, barely visible even with the world's most powerful telescopes. Yet their discovery is a reminder of how little we know about the solar system's outskirts. One of Neptune's new moons takes a leisurely 27 years to complete its orbit, a pace that seems almost comical when compared to the hustle of our inner planets. Each new find feels like a breadcrumb leading us deeper into the unknown, proving that even the familiar corners of space still have secrets to reveal. Number 1. Dark matter. Dark matter is the stuff of nightmares for physicists. It's there, but no one knows what it is. Back in the 1970s, Vera Rubin and Kent Ford noticed galaxies spinning way too fast. By all logic, they should have been flinging stars into the void like a bad carnival ride. But they weren't. The only explanation? Some invisible, gravity-wielding substance was holding them together. Enter dark matter, which makes up a whopping 90% of the universe's mass, but refuses to interact with light or ordinary matter. It's like a cosmic ghost, everywhere, but impossible to pin down. And despite its central role in keeping the universe from falling apart, the Nobel Committee has given it the cold shoulder. Maybe they're waiting for a big reveal, or maybe they just prefer mysteries unsolved. Either way, dark matter is out there, silently running the show while we squabble over things like parking spaces and Wi-Fi passwords. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.